On a cold Minneapolis night, the kind where one's breath hangs heavy in the air, a line was crossed that left a family grieving, a city shouting for answers, and a nation shivering in the uncertainty of what justice now means. We wake to news of a fatal shooting, an officer's gun, a nurse's life ended, the roar of protest echoing down icy streets. And all across the country, folks wonder, has it become too easy for power to fire? Has the rule of law lost its human heart? Now I know fear can gather quick in times like this, but history has seen such storms before. It is not the first time our republic has met the trial of its own conscience, nor will it be the last. Not all news is black and white. If you'll give me a moment, let us look together. Let us seek not a target for our anger, but a path for reason, mercy, and truth to walk hand in hand. First, what happened on that winter day? Federal officers, part of a national campaign to enforce our immigration laws, came to Minneapolis, a city already on edge from weeks of tension. They aimed to find and arrest men and women whose papers, they said, did not match the law. But enforcement, when done without wisdom, risks turning peace officers into engines of fear. On Nicollet Avenue, Alex Pretty, a citizen, a nurse, someone known for protesting federal crackdowns, came face to face with armed men bearing the nation's authority. The Department of Homeland Security reports they fired in defense, that Pretty approached with a gun and violently resisted when they tried to disarm him. Yet bystander video and the word of his family say otherwise, that he held only a phone, that he stood surrounded, unarmed, before shots broke the quiet. Local police say Pretty was a lawful gun owner, permit and all, but evidence of a weapon in hand is still missing from the record. Here is where uncertainty reigns. In that thin air, between a claim of law and a plea for justice, between the blue light and the red blood on winter ice, we see the cost of confusion, the risk when power outpaces proof. Picture a thin layer of snow on Nicollet Avenue, yellow tape fluttering in the wind, protesters bundled up, faces red from cold, voices raised against the dark. Some weep, some shout, all search for meaning. Up the avenue, officers stand in a line, each face drawn tight, staring not at each other, but at some distant question in the night. And behind every camera lens, behind every barricade, is a mother, a father, a neighbor, asking, how safe is our world now? Who holds back the hand of power? Not far beyond, inside a modest living room, a family sits before the blue light of the evening news. No words, just eyes locked on the screen. A child asks her mother, why are people so angry? Who is supposed to protect us? And the mother wishes for an answer that will quiet the storm. These are the true burdens of such nights. Not only the pain of a life cut short, but the doubt that seeps into every home. Doubt about who serves who. Doubt about whether the shield of law is still a blanket for all. Now, after the shooting, the governor called forth the National Guard. Uniformed men fill city streets, their boots crunching in the snow, offering both a promise of order and a threat of escalation. Some see safety behind those lines, others feel only fresh fear. Protesters in the teeth of sub-zero winds chant, "Ice out now," and raise barricades against the cold. Their fire burns bright, but so too does the worry among those who simply want peace, desiring not war in their streets, but trust restored. The law, my friends, is meant never to serve itself. It is a tool, held in the hand of reason, meant to protect the weak, restrain the strong, and answer for its own mistakes. To fire a gun is the gravest power a government gives, and such power must always kneel before the law's higher spirit. For every officer, the badge is not just a mark of authority. It's a promise made under oath, not to a party, but to the Constitution and to every citizen under it. Let us not cover over the pain or anger folks feel. A republic strong only when its people's trust is strong. When state officers are blocked from a scene, even with a judge's signed warrant. When federal hands hide evidence from the eyes of the law, faith in the system begins to fray. And once frayed, it does not mend easy. Picture a courtroom bench as midnight draws near. Tired men and women with badges wait for the truth to come out. Stacked folders, a screen flickers. Each waits for their own duty to speak plain. Or think of the hospital hallway, quiet but heavy after the loss. Doctors and nurses remember their lost friend, wonder what justice looks like now. Justice, my fellow citizens, asks for light. It asks that even the hand of government be open to inspection, that not one officer, not one leader, escapes the common standard. It is because we remain a nation of law, and not of armies in the street, nor mobs in the square, that this truth must be said. To keep order, we must not fear investigation. To enforce law, we must not blindfold justice. Every leader faces a time when order and conscience seem to pull in opposite ways. The governor, in sending the guard, says he has no confidence in federal officials' conduct. He orders the state's own investigators to lead, only to find the scene blocked by those whose power comes from Washington instead of St. Paul. Here the struggle is not just between one officer and one citizen. It is between two visions of government itself. Which shall survive, power without limit, or law with mercy? That is the trial before us. And so the test that lies before Minneapolis, before all of us, is not found only in this one moment of blood on snow, but in what comes next. Imagine a church basement, a circle of neighbors joined in quiet talk, each with a different hurt, a different anger, but all hungry for healing. The storm outside has passed, but the real storm is in their hearts. They ask, who now can we trust to tell the truth? For if truth is not made clear, unrest will not fade. It simply grows quieter, waiting for another spark. In Washington, power stirs. Some lawmakers say they will withhold money from the Department of Homeland Security, refusing votes until answers come. A shutdown looms, not just over dollars, but over principle. Demands for proof that those who enforce our laws do not stand above them. Picture a conference room lit by harsh bulbs, members of Congress in shirt sleeves, voices low and tired as midnight approaches. Stacks of reports, cell phones ringing, each one wrestling with what justice requires, what safety allows. Outside those walls, folks watch and wait, not for speeches, but for honesty. Not all news is black and white. In the halls of government, in the quiet of homes, Americans know this truth. Most officers wake each morning hoping only to serve and return unharmed. Most citizens do not wish for disorder, but neither do they wish to be silent when a wrong has been done. Here, at this crossroads, the Republic is tested. Think of a high school civics class, where a teacher erases last week's lesson and writes a new question on the board. What does justice mean when trust is broken? Teenagers frown, some angry, some afraid, all learning firsthand how government cannot run on laws alone. It needs faith. Now there are those who will seek to use this story for their own ends. They will try to pit neighbor against neighbor, state against state, feeding on fear, trading in outrage. But America's strength is her unity. We do not have to heed those who cry for battle instead of healing. We do not have to surrender to the cold of suspicion or let hatred harden in our hearts. Picture, if you will, a small business owner sweeping the front step before sunrise. He stops, looks up at the tattered remains of police tape caught on a street sign. He sighs, but then pulls down that tape, folding it quietly. Each act of care, each refusal to turn away, knits the fabric of our union, thread by thread. History has seen this before. Each time the Republic has faced a wound, whether by slaver's whip, by riot's fire, by the careless hand of authority, it has survived, not through rage, but through reasoned resolve. It is in meeting fear with courage, pain with understanding, that our best days are born. I will not pretend that trust can be restored with the stroke of a pen, nor that justice is always swift or easy. But I have seen, in the darkest times, that mercy is never wasted. To every leader I say, stand up for process, not only for power. To every citizen I say, let your voice be firm, but never cruel. Ask for the truth, and be patient enough to see it shown. Think of a family gathered for Sunday dinner, chairs pulled close, the table set for one less. They pass the bread, sharing more than food. They share the hope that tomorrow will bring answers, and that their sorrow might not be any other family's fate. Such hope is not foolish. It has built churches and schools and planted flags in empty fields. The rule of law, battered though it feels, can still protect us, if we demand that it be whole for every person, in every town. Let each investigation be honest, and every finding made plain. Let officers who did right be honored, and those who acted wrong bear their share and no more. America does not fail when conflict arises. She fails only if we do not strive, together, to mend what is broken. Now, as I look out, across frozen city streets and quiet farm roads, from bright-lit kitchens to protest marches in the snow, I remember the simple truth that steadies my heart. The Republic can be saved. It will not be saved by anger alone, nor by silence, but by regular people showing up, by parents and teachers, by officers and workers, by every neighbor who believes that fairness can outlast fear. We must watch, we must question, we must wait while the wheels of justice turn, yet we must never lose the thread of mercy, nor the bond that makes us one people. So I ask you, as you go about your days, when you see a flag hanging still in the dawn, or a hand extended in help, or a quiet word spoken to calm a quarrel, what kind of country do we wish to hand to those who come after us? Will it be a place where force outruns fairness, or a home where each can walk without fear, knowing the law is not a sword alone, but also a shield and a light? That, dear friends, is the question left to us. Let us answer it with hearts unafraid, minds clear, and love for the Republic we share.